So we'll start on page 9. The prayers to before the teachings.
What page?
9. Yeah. All of it?
Something.
We'll do this, the request for teachings, we'll say in English as well. To fulfill the needs of all sentient beings in their various states of mental capacity, including the lesser, greater, common, and extraordinary vehicles, we beseech you to turn the wheel of Dharma.
Oh, yeah, that's that. Ninji Wangcho, that Ninji accident, that Ninji Wangcho. And then I have Papa Jen and this chat such a Jenny. And it is, and it, and it, on a simple number to get the Jibate for a chat, on no budget. Then David Junior de la Japsuchi, so one I get it. 강을 되는 단가죠. 제는 장주부지 섬유가 얘네 대라양 차츠제 얘네 이네 다다된 거는 저때 시야자가 너무데 얘네 맞아 기동납질 본슈비에
So first, I'd like to pay homage to the Lord of Enlightened Compassion, Noble Avalokiteshvara Chinrezig, recalling his qualities. Chinrezig was forever joyful at the happiness of others and plunged into sorrow whenever they suffer. You have fully realized great compassion with all its qualities and abide without a care for your own happiness or suffering. So initially, beginning by offering homage to all those endowed with bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, and in particular, the noble Lord of Enlightened Compassion, Chinrezig. So with that homage, then the main topic for our discussion will be the teachings on the spiritual path of taking happiness and suffering as one's spiritual path.
아니 강도야 당가랑주 기국란 제르세다 당고 지그라니 나족 다 소위키 니가 직변지 칸나 된다 소리지 예나야 에너지 강을 맹해지 여서 말해 되는 데라 아니 동을 매버지 요 말해 되지 송장 다 나랑 저거 대화당 동을 생년 대양 되는 참참나 되는 대탐제양 지 샘지 아니 고동 차단 거 거니 아니 대라 때니 지금 아주 너바치 정당 양나 아니 양 지 너바트서 담지마 양 아니 마녀바다 양나 때서 담지 양 펜발을 겨토발라 소바 샘지 차단 그 토니 되니 민라와 뭐지 용되고 요래서
It's regarding taking happy situations and or suffering, negative situations as one's spiritual path. So first, regarding that, when we think about it, we'd really be very hard pressed to find any individual alive now, any being that there could be that is not ever plagued by some experience of suffering. And likewise, to find anyone that hasn't experienced happiness. States of happiness are not necessarily lasting. They tend to be temporary. Beings go through states of suffering and happiness both. And really, the experience of suffering when some situation befalls you, how much that situation harms you, the degree to which that situation harms you, is in large part contingent upon your mindset, your motivation, how you experience that within your own frame of mind. So for some individuals, one situation may be extremely harmful for them. For others, that same situation may not be that negative, not be that bad for them. And yet still for some individuals, the same situation can be beneficial and can be experienced that way. So really all of that is contingent upon how we experience it, what our mindset is.
그래서 다 디나니 베네 기당근 가랑 저기 동아리 생인데라 다 나서 용사라고 제가요 가시지 베나 요르지 차는 거고요 베나다 선제 마임바게 그러면 용하게 거샤다 얘네 다 가지 얘네 다 소소그지 얘네 yenji jeba mayin ba yang sosu go ngone je lela nacha ene de na yi da je ngara zo ga kangara da de ge da je ene sosu go ni dang je toni yo yo yang cho yen da ji ene yenji ene la ngu su ji da ma sam ba ngan ba jo ba zu bi go ni ene je ma yang na ba jeba la so ba la ben je ni da 용사가 Khandro de desco mirada umas mambo chavo dos and that tambo don't polish here.
So in general, experiences that we would call suffering, where do they come from? What are the sources of some suffering situation? So we can have all sorts of different kinds of sources. We can really break down all sources of experiences of suffering really into two. So the first is external sources that don't have a sentient agent inflicting the harm upon them. So something just naturally happens to us. Nobody's intending it to happen to us, just we meet with some misfortune, or we fall sick. Something happens within our body that isn't really anybody's fault. We just get sick, something happens. So that's one class of how experiences of suffering can come about, and the other is through the actions of other individuals who may very well intend to be harming us through malice, through not liking us or something. Through their intention, they mean to, and they actually bring negativity to us, suffering to us. So first, Rinpoche says we'll be talking about suffering quite a bit now. We'll start off with this topic of suffering.
다 나라도 배나 아니 기능 배나다 요리촌이 지 종용뭐 배차연다 사용자발라 소바 첼로자발라 소바 아니 다 배데제스레 틱남도 다발라 소바 다 된다고 지금 알아서 아니 내기 다지 아니 랑송 거네 지금 알아서 아니 그러나지요 배나 레비 모여레스 조직 다 되라 탑시 강야 제가 매매 탑시 마요 강야 제가 매봐 나한테 배지 생각 좀 고토라 근데 가디용 가디 레요 미시 가디용 미시 톱자고 야지 배나다 말아서 배나다 아니 사용라 소발로 졸로 소바다 제가 소바다 비지 배나지 차이 모여레스
So difficult situations bring on experiences of some form of suffering that arise from external conditions, really often, for the most part, are unavoidable. Disturbances in the elements, earthquakes, floods, crashes, accidents, plane crash. Many different things can happen that we have absolutely no control over. There's no way to know when something will happen, how it will happen, what will happen to us in those types of situations. They're unavoidable. They'll come when they come. You can't know when an earthquake's going to happen.
강발로 되니 미상 세 미상도 소시 되는 롱과 탐제다 되지도 배 강을 토로 동아래가 두고 동아 망고지 되니 다 뒤집을 거라서 쓰용이라고 지 그래서 차용이요.
So sometimes there are unavoidable situations that just happen and bring about tremendous amounts of suffering and difficulty, like an earthquake. Massive earthquake that destroys buildings, destroys houses, whole families can be killed, the whole region can be devastated. There's suffering upon suffering upon suffering that can arise from these situations that seem to come out of nowhere.
다 되지 레오는 그 값sos 다 되라 나랑 저게 애니 생지장 나랑 저 배치스를 지세 마대봐 애니 다 동아르게 서로와 다 자고지 랑 얘기 뉴뉴로 와 근데 대다고 되라 애니 다 나랑 저거 탑들 강하게 오마래 세트비야 가요 가데 가르세 애니 저저분은 직송을 봤어 가데 대다답을 찍더니 내가 그 탑들어오지 제대로나 근데 가르치는 짓마지라고 그러니까 탑들어오더니 그냥 제대로면 그냥 와서 샘플 제나요 아니 동아리 제나요 해도 그냥 요마 해도 매비 토라 다동형 동아리게 서로한테 체든 로죠 라도 조죠 대가 때니 근데 다 나랑 저직 아니 답변 하람직 가르쳐고 다 야라직 생각 누가 빼야 이나ян다 삼로 연다 땅에 이나ян다 다 탐치 다동요 아니 마음에 토라 근데 탐치 아니 막 매우 차이가 들리거든. 얘가 잘 모르서.
So in those types of a scenario situation, then the mind too is automatically, naturally be plagued by feelings of sorrow, different experiences of suffering. They'll automatically come. Then there's really no method to avoid that happening. When there's a tragedy, then there's experience of suffering, of sorrow, of despair with that. No, there's no means to avoid that happening. But like Shantideva says in the Way of the Bodhisattva, the Bodhicharyavatara, when something befalls you, if there's a method to deal with it or correct it, then no need to worry about it. When something befalls you, if there's no means to avoid it or be rid of it, then what benefit will worry bring beyond more suffering? Which is an important point. So when we do meet with tragedy, there's going to be experiences of suffering, of sorrow that connect to those experiences. That's automatic. But worrying about it more and adding to that suffering then brings absolutely no benefit. All it does is increase one's experience of negativity, of suffering. And moreover, whatever fortitude, strength of the mind one does have can be completely destroyed.
어느스다 치 너섭 대리장 남경가라 좀 샘지 찍다 애니 동을 애니 다지 서로 흉트라고데 애더니 너섭 대비지 치와 차요 그래서 가래서나 다 될때니 샘대야다 동할때 쏟아 매반라고 차 동할때 가세 치와요 그래서 랑자 대ግ 말해 대야 공도 펠주 그래 yang mangye de tenden rore dongar de dene pet chesere shok chedo ro tenden ro dene tapshi 강양 매바 dene 나와 탐치 jar lang so ro dene 하람 다지 서로 탐치 동안이라고 차지 다 직된데는 지 대비게 강제 삼네 dene 다 하람 직된데는 대는 강제 삼바라고 dene 다 참아 락
So there can be one initial situation that happens that disrupts one's external environment. And then based on that situation that automatically happened, then there's a corresponding experience internally within the mind. But from that initial situation, the experience within the mind can become much worse and much more prolonged. And it can become a stable experience of suffering and torment. That there's that initial cause, and then one is feeling ill at ease internally to the point where the suffering is unbearable. And instead of diminishing and dissipating with time, it can actually increase and remain firmly until there's no way to get rid of it. To the point where everything one experiences, all appearances dawn as enemies, literally. And that whatever one is doing, wherever one goes, their feeling, their experience is tinged with negativity, sorrow, and suffering. And when that type of mindset takes over, then you will start to think about what's the point of me being in the world anyway? Yeah, so a single situation can overwhelm individuals. Their whole experience of life can become a stable experience of suffering and torment.
근데 somata 랑잉을 미게야 고조 샘기 즉 아니 쌈는 즉 샘욕 제정다 쌈비 제랄데 고호 제정세 거나 다 가르세거나 다 가시이나 양 데스 로호 첨보 샘지 고자 첨보 샘기 데스 가서 지하 첨보 양보 가리네요 코르 통해지 작고 근데 이나 다 양고 답이 얘나 망고요 와서 왜나 다 데드로지 값어 다 애니 양 니서 두고 데네라고 잡아이나 대 값도 되지 그러 빼놨더니 아니 야 아니 야나 팬토야 그런 때문에 지금가라서 다 잡아 빼는 거란다 아니 가랑을 빼는 기술을 다 되는 빼다 미 가랑 좀 미상하다 민망고 시스타요나 빼차 야위나 다 가랑 다시 받을 때네 다 코란 속 직전에 아니 남의나는다 미견당이는다 대수 그 치어도 나한테 되게 다 지라 팬토백을 내가 누비한테 아니 딱 나한테 당 들어와야 돼딱 나한테서 도스키는 쌈노티 즉 동하나 코란 거 이럴 때는 봤으면 마당이 대다야 애니 즉 이제는 쌈모이나요다 옛날 랑잉이 지금 가서 동할래야 아니 조르토야 양아도 사버그지 셈바 사바야 튼토야 자와 사바 튼토야기 쌈모지 코르가 이거다 야 요르지다다 깡을데 전부들이 차이 말했어 가능성도 다 답이어야 돼 말이야 레와이어야 돼 말이야
On the other hand, some individuals face the same situation can happen to other individuals, and they respond to it completely differently. Maybe they for either have innate or for some reason they seem to have stronger fortitude of heart, or literally we're saying more powerful minds, more courage, more fortitude, which really comes down to an understanding of there are methods to be applied. There's something that can be done here. Some individuals tend to just be lighter in mind. They have a broader, open, more vast mindscape that seems automatically able to deal with more situations. So something terrible happens to those individuals, and they will naturally experience suffering automatically, and then be able to start to see different things, different actions that can be taken in accord with that particular situation. Especially, some individuals see how to help others in situations like that. Their mindset automatically goes towards altruistic endeavor. Say there's some situation, there are many individuals that are dead, that have died, and you have survived. There's different ways you respond to that. You can respond recognizing, I survived, I still have life, and see that as like a new dawn to take on new actions, to connect deeper with family, with others, recognizing the preciousness of life, recognizing it as an opportunity that spurs you to be of benefit to others, to connect more deeply with others. So for those types of individuals, then situations that arise based on external negativity, right, and external objective reality not going your way on a given occasion, there are ways that you deal with that through your own thinking, through your own engaging, through your own mindset, that then transform, alleviate the experiences of suffering, can directly free you or liberate you from long-lasting experiences of suffering and negativity. And instead of remaining stuck in this stable, lasting experiences of sorrow, then those situations of negativity actually inspire new action, inspire a new way of thinking, a new way of engaging life. And all that's based on individuals being able to recognize that there is opportunity in everything, that whatever happens, there's a method, there's something that can be done, and there's still hope.
Any benata ngaran zobe any 동아리 쟤네요. 첨부 동아리 첨부 쟤네요. 아니 동아리 데리 저렇다면 패턴이 요마래. 그러니 요마래. 동아들 패턴이 레와니 요마래. 시존에 야랑도 말이 시선존에 야랑도 말이 차살존은 데 차라살. 다 데려 탑심도 탑심 내가 있는 다 데려 탑심 내가 되나 다동 뒤 돌아더니 말하는 걸 제스만은 대 패도 가입니다. 대리장 다다드나 그냥 화대버 망보지 용되더라.
네네.
된 르대버 용거라. 미양 용거래 미jen다. 빼다다 말하는 저 미jen다 용거를 빼다다 미jen다 화유 대버 용거래 강을 여봐 동을 여봐더니 jen다지 장요.
강을 제외인 둥
말에서 다 랑을 빼다 희송전라고 다들 야 랑일 말와 강과 희송전라고 다 야 랑을 말와 다 여바지 다른 화도 좀 망고요 와 다다가는 좀 빼다 빼다가 좀 빼다 보고 있는데 예명이는데 경고 있는데 미jen다 보고 있는데 랑hin기 대소 담시 야 쪼야 돼 대소로 패나야기 고급대 요래 대 되는 말하는 저 빼는 되는 지금 빼다 코요게 되게 잡아지 넣어봐야 때가 펜토요래라. 펜토요래, 루비아요래. 그바요래, 다다요래. 양 삼로 그 돈이 삼로 된다고 했다나 파치리 양 삼로 그 거보다 지금 아주 동아라다 장난다 그 양 대양 열적으로 와서 이거 그 삼로 열로 왜 주니
And likewise, we can experience situations of great suffering. For example, the death of someone, the death of a loved one. So back to our earthquake, the house has fallen down on family members, maybe on our own child, or someone very close to us has died. So there's going to be great suffering in that, an experience of torment, sorrow, suffering, despair. But we can also recognize this tragic event has happened. This person has died. That's terrible, and there's no coming back. There's nothing I can do there. There's no method available to bring them back to life. However, there are still individuals that are alive with me in my environment, in my life. I still have family, I still have friends. There are elderly individuals I'm close to that will likewise be deceased soon. So there are methods still, there's actions that can be taken to cherish and literally protect and serve those that are still with us. So we can take great tragedy like that, someone very close to us dying, can inspire us to connect to and take actions to that are beneficial. Take actions that are beneficial, meaningful, helpful, in service to others. And not only that, but will also transform our experience. So the very nature of our experience, of emotion that we experience in our mind, is that it is malleable. That's by its very nature. Whatever we experience can change. So in the experiences of great tragedy, someone very close to us dying, then likewise we can recognize that this too shall pass.
Honesta, tenera ujegi ta kalna ji chheong deus. Perna jidang chu yoba jigda, chulo khane ina yang, chulo yoba jigina, shera jigana zu, ene cheber chagdoa. chulu yabashi yina ta rangi yang tene rangi chang tene ta yang ki yandala ya conchola soba tabya yina ya re manam jabya yina ya re chi mite sola ya mege ta chik ta me songyo la yina ya pyato dobya ki samuji ya khoyachi 다다 내 양에도 소라이나 장바든 째와든 자와지 두야지 대대 맞아 그동안 코나들 삼어 땅 막어다 대대지 예다게 삼어지 로고 살바지 바체 여들려나지도 다 대자니 매조도서 근데 다 지고서 베이스 거네 다 답이 가야 매조로 삼어가 이게 매조로 차로 매조로 삼어도
And it seems too that individuals that have some sort of a spiritual tradition, be it Buddhism or really pretty much any spiritual connection or religion, seem to treat and respond to really tragic events, really difficult situations totally differently, where there are inbuilt methods available. Something tragic happens, then we pray. First thing religious people tend to do is pray. They pray to whatever their God, their understanding. They pray to the three jewels. We make aspirational prayers on behalf of others that are suffering or deceased. Spiritual traditions tend to automatically or turn individuals away from staying within their own experience of suffering and looking to the experience of others, actions to take to be a benefit to others. And by doing that, by turning to look towards the experience and situation of others, then automatically one's mindscape opens up and you find a sense of courage and fortitude in your heart. And often those that have no spiritual connection at all, or no religion, no spiritual tradition, no spiritual connection, then often for them in situations of very difficult situations, then it does feel and seem like there's absolutely nothing that can be done.
다데 사야데 가르치는 게 되려고 요새나 말하는 냠용거 돈을 라고 요새 당가랑 놈한테는 야나 말복 아니 로드니 조선 교육이들 돈이야 좀 가는 쪽이야 야 좀만 먹어요 아니 그냥 dinana baba ya yungo re jami yang yungo yore teni technology teni ta mitra minatri yungo yore tende ke thoni ta pena ngaran cho da jidang ani ngazu ja ta chu me cho te so da teni ke ngaran cho jami te so da ngazu ta jidang ko baba te so da 동아르 코르트베 상공방 휴지 체벌시라지 하고 배찬서는 다만 저거 당보지 옛날 가서 주 가요 미히케지나 랑그랑 샘소지 제토도와 가서 레이스에 킬래죠 봐 저요 봐대 다 가이는 가는 게 레지 요래 다 섬니 코디 데이스 아니 가서 그지 아니 강아르데 강가 미다 야금이다 와 미코나 돌 야금이요 말 아소리가 또 보다면 야나래 봐 이는 제자미 깡깡이 계속 삼바데 야야나 아니 가서 그 서로한테 배 할래비 카볼 가서라 레지 여바 인지래 다 얘나 제야요 말아 다 가서 봐서 희야나요 대가시 다 가요 말이에요 말에 다 가서 레지 다 저래 가서 레레라 올라도 소수가티 인강라지 샬 어다 가서 레지 다 저래 상마제제니 다 하는 기고르다방서 체가데 매만도도 다 드라치고를 삼는 방법이나 다 코스 그때 지어서 알았잖아 아니 디 나라 코스 너바 제하게 삼는 간세 너기 코너를 삼는 방법이나 디 나라 패도 매비토라 내 동안에 체도 줘 나게 되는 배도 저서 생기 콩로도 체도 줘 대라 때니 내 르당 샘당 자바당 차장 같은 강에도 채우고 이래 가지고
So I'm sharing this really based on my own personal experience. What I've been through, what I've experienced, in particular, the real distinction between how individuals with a spiritual connection and how those without face and are able to deal with very difficult situations. For example, in my own life, I was imprisoned at around age 14, 15. For a number of years was in prison and by the communist Chinese. But at that time, we're imprisoning lots of people. And there were many of us prisoners in prison from all different walks of life. In particular, we had a lot of Tibetans and a lot of Chinese. And the Tibetans, for the most part, are very religious. And for the most part, the Chinese were lacking the spiritual connection. And I saw a huge difference in how these two groups dealt with the situation that we were in, the horrible situation we were in. And generally speaking, it seemed that Tibetans were really able to, we were able to carry it, the situation better, deal with it easier. In large part because as Buddhists, we believe in karma. So we'd been imprisoned by the communist Chinese. It was the communist Chinese that were doing all these terrible things to us and to Tibet at the time. But if through our recognition of karma, belief in karma, then the entirety of the blame, we didn't perceive it as being just these individuals. We didn't put the whole blame just on the person that had done something to us. And just by doing that, half of the burden of the suffering and the anger was already lifted, was already gone. And we also had hope. Whatever we went through, oh, this is my karma, and the karma is being purified. It's going to be gone now. And we would say this to each other, and this was really our mindset, and this was a powerful mindset for us. We're experiencing the result of our own karma. It's being purified. It's being exhausted now. And whatever we endure, we've, at least in part, it's been brought upon ourselves. We brought it upon ourselves. This is our karma. And really by recognizing that, by staying in that type of mindset, it deeply lessened the experience of suffering, and particularly the experience of anger and resentment towards the prisoners. And also just when you think about it, if you have an enemy, someone that has malice towards you, has done something bad to you intentionally, what really is the point of ruminating on it, of nurturing that resentment, of staying angry with them? It absolutely doesn't benefit you at all, and it doesn't really harm them, just remaining angry. And in fact, it increases the experience of suffering in your mind, the state of negativity. And the longer you hold that, the higher the anger grows, stabler it becomes. Not only does this create this state of dis-ease in the mind, but it also it impacts everything. It impacts your body, your physical condition, your physical health. It plagues your mind, your thinking, and it will plague and contaminate all of your actions and activities.
yang dada dik ta koramde mi yandala thongwa jibu marwa marang koramde juyore marang ge semji chawala ngara tidu pugure ngara chuba mare chuba inaya lama tugo go mayore chujien zona tsibare inaya ngara chugi tseni huji ke hege yo mare misbatene ngrode ngato ta jamil Khandro lang yo 다 배드께서 콘도 델란드 치잉아랑 좀 강에 다 칼라사 주메바 대사 강을 동접 대소 직바지 참 미상과 직바 뒤에 나니 투무 마이바데 나랑 콘도데 되는 나랑 앞에 메시바가 다 지금 아주 서로 독휴들에 같이 하는 되네 다 지금 측이 미소다 샘지 콘도다 상마 저 동바이나 냐르와 nyalo som da buchik halam tsura da yungor di chite gechi ore mi do nangde da dong ta shuk chi shu de nang kong de
In this example of the power of anger and resentment to overwhelm you, as not just a story I read, this has also been my personal direct experience, in particular when I was in prison. They put me in prison. I was just a child. I wasn't at that point really a true Dharma practitioner. I didn't really even understand what the Dharma really was. But I did have a fancy title. I was a tulku. I was a lama. And really, it was because of that title that I was taken by the Chinese and imprisoned. And when I was first in prison, I was extremely angry. All the time, extremely angry, enraged. And sure, the living situation was awful, terrible. No food, no decent place to sleep, no decent place to sit. I was extremely dirty. It was a horrible environment. But the torment of the anger that I was holding was definitely, when I look back on it and compare the two, the living situation and the torment I put myself through living in that state of anger, the anger was much worse. It was a much larger experience of suffering. And really those initial days, based on the external environment being as awful as it was and tormenting myself with the anger and rage I had inside, it really was an experience of hell. I was living in the hell realm.
네, 초연다 찍네. 대가스다 가서 말하는 자리라마 다 두고 지침주도 거나 라마 개신이 뭐 보여래. 초진이 되니 다 말은 쟁년 받으라고 조를 셔지. 다 가서 참 나 콘서 그냥 다 수요로. 그래서 라마도 그냥. 근데 콘서 내니서도 통고요 라마. 저랑 빼면서 콘서 제가 왜 쓰냐면라. 제가 요새 아니 다 같이는 저랑 콘서 제가 다 거저고 바위를 쳐서 땜반에 희소 라마다 비를接서 다 콘서 되네. 다 빠져서 되니까 콘서 맞이는 서로 제하고 래 나오지. 근데 저런 게 되네. 다 콘서 아니 콘서 다 빠져서 되네. 어다 아니 대 저런 게 되네. 내가 다 빠져서 되네. 레지움도 킬량이 와서 이현다 이 레지움도 킬량이 와서 얘네 얘네들이 라면서 얘네야 저 가서라 레드로드는 짠이 매나 가서 그 이야기들을 순나바지 투라 말해 내가 가라서 해야 되게 통이도 토마서 상무동 별치죠 얘네야 다동라미 들어가 얘네들 코즈를 레드도 싸지니 드리버 가리 요거래서 내가 코즈 냐바 도르지되는 저거래서 얘네 저다 얘네 안에 근데 저랑 다다 애네 저랑 그때는 냐가 놀이는 고선 로고요나 저랑 그때는 고선 냐가 로고이 생겨데 저 닝게 제고 말베스 오늘 저랑 냐가 로고이 생겨데 닝게 맞지 신강의 로고에서 저랑 닝게 제기 베스 제가 다 콩나발라 콩토미도 나마도서라 얘네 콩토 매발데 닝게도 샘도 대화도 나 들지 봐도 나 동아래 되셔. 콘서 대화래도. 제사가 다 가서 민라바지 이러가. 근데 다 나랑 그 쩐데 이진이 얘들이 하지 고서.
So there's another way to experience that situation in prison. also that negative situation, negative circumstance of being in prison turned into a great ally, a great benefit to me, because it brought me to my root guru, Togorgen Chemcho, and also a number of other great masters that were my teachers, Khenpos and Geshes and Lamas. So in those early days in prison, these great spiritual masters, they saw me, they saw my situation, they saw how I was. At one point I had a conversation, and Togorgen Chemchok asked me, "So you seem angry, are you angry?" "Of course I'm angry." "Well, what are you so angry about?" The Chinese have taken my homeland. They've killed people. They've imprisoned all these great masters. They're completely destroying the teachings. "Of course I'm angry." And then he continued, "Well, do you accept karma, cause and effect?" "Of course I accept karma. I believe in karma." "Well, then, if we didn't have the karmic imprints in our mind stream to experience these situations, to have these actions take place against us, if we didn't have that karma, it would be impossible for those things to happen, right?" I didn't have an answer to that. So I said you had to think about that one for a while. And then the conversation was continuing for a while, and the next thought for me to contemplate on, I was asked, well, these individuals that are doing so bad to us, is that bad karma? Are those negative actions? Yes, they're very negative actions. That's bad karma. Well, where do you think that karma is going to lead them? Well, it's going to lead them to the very, very bottom depths of Vajra hell. That's where these guys are going, the bottom of Vajra hell, the worst hell of ultimate torment there is. To which, of course, my guru replied, well, you don't have any compassion for beings that are destined for hell? You save your compassion for beings destined for the pure realms? And yes, so through these conversations, eventually I was able to really see directly my fault in the whole thing. And also just observing these lamas. These lamas, they weren't angry. And in place of being angry, they had tremendous compassion. And also, they happened to be happy. For me, I was filled with anger, had no compassion, and I was miserable. So through that, I was able to see my fault.
다 조진이야. 다 nga 콩로 랑사도서 nga 수 make 콩 대사 야메 대소리 내가 망 대소. 맞아 송해가 망 대소. 아니 저거 그냥 송다. 저 코서로 콩로 랑가 요에스 다 망 대소 야메 대소라. 에 연대인 다 코서가 송해 대소. 아니 코서나 닌제 제거야 됐어. 코서 로충용 카레미도에 코서 아바이요래 아마이요래 롱바드는 말에 코서 나서도 찍어지게 나서는 코서 누가 그래서 나서 롱바를 내요 코서 때는 딱 뻗기서지 다 소식을 롱바는 예를 롱바는 할래 때는서 녀인도 세이나 매다서 가래죠 사자 몸이시 게임이 코서 강해요래 대추성 안 거이면서 다이삼로지 야보지 땅 나다 코서 제발 파체들이 매발해도 코서야 라오메비 돈이 지금 야를 대원줄에도 와
Also, Togorg and Chimchok, on one occasion, were looking at the guards, the Chinese military soldiers that were guarding us day and night. Saw me, how I was looking at them, and said, "Are you angry at those guards?" "Of course I'm angry at the guards, keeping us here, monitoring us, pointing their guns at us." Really? You don't have compassion for the guards? No, I'm angry at them. Oh, I think you should have compassion for them. Poor guys, their mothers, their fathers, they've been yanked out of their own homelands, brought here. They don't speak the language. They don't know anybody. They're being forced to stand guard, hold their guns, stand guard all day, all night. None of them want to be here. They're suffering. They're in a foreign land, don't know people. They're being forced to do stuff just like we are. Rinpoche thought about this, and then he'd see the guards and he'd think about their plight until he came to the understanding, wow, these guards are really exactly like me. They don't want to be here. They're being forced to be here. They're suffering just like me. And at that point, compassion was growing for the guards.
조직이 저거 라마 저거 지금 코나바 맞죠? 리가 찍고 직접 리되고요. 그래. 야미 가래 야 내가 제 그런 정한 거죠. 이나야 근데 공성 샘제 담지기 드바장 거요. 아주 꼴기 드바장에서 내가 내가 제일 송.
샘제 담지기.
자. 샘제 담지기. 다지 가서 봐줘서 드바장이 네 때문에 뱉어서 다리 강을 잡으려 공고 이거 산이 제금에서 오도 내가 알다요. 내가 가서 요제도 봐 제거요. 그래서 현재 하는데 근데 다 뱉어서 가서 다리 두 수종 현재 거로 와. 아니 다 야미가 내가한테 말해내 약속을 내는 뜻바래죠. 근데 다리 두 수종 다리다 밑에서 밤만 통한테 다리 소 맞지. 뭐도 이제 다 이렇게 대라고 말씀아 내봐요. 그러죠. 콩가 내가 되는 그때 가서 내 장거여서 내가 이거 싸워지는 제 마음용소. 근데 싸워야 보지도 아주 다 대사 기관에 내가 기관에 콩나비 싸바 그랬다나 개발해도 얘네 다 개한테 가라요. 이 연패래도 인계래도 양 기보래도 나랑 세바 얘네 메데바래도 콩조래도 리 파마죠 리 사바 야사도 와 제상가 다들은 렉 무도섬들이 이니 내삼보데 제보탑스 내삼바데 제보탑니 너네 드네 고소를 다다 잘미데서나 닝기 샤야도 요지 차스 대차데 야미도 패도가요 패도 너바 지강요 말에 나 컨트롤랑 드르고 드스 컨트롤 마 싫어도 만들 개네 나 개선나요 야밀라 너 빠tam지 제 도마래 말아 이나야 나 가르치는 고돈 패너도 용말인데 나랑 그 노니 나랑 그 삼바데 주와 땅게 나랑 그 삼바데 패도도 노니 설 좋으세요 나랑 좋으세요 가래 다 코너비 가딩도 올때니 내 당분야로 한다고 돼 되니 상황도 없지 다 코너바 가르쳐서 여러분 법주원지 삼거다 상황도 없지
Yummy kind.
정한데 rum바 인도 되네 라미기지 나도 되네 추 삼모던데 되네 지금은 tö번용에 쪽받침 못 하고 되게 되네 추 발상견이 되네 사람 되네 신감으로 나와지 샤도도 뭐 저런데 다 코레도 우리 쟁에 때마다 코레도 북지를 속아야 됩니다 하나 코라야 가진 치슈고야라고 이제 쌈을 고용을 우리 대형도 콘다고 지금 하더라 뭐서는 하더라마데도 예사 말고 대대 되니 나로 고타바데 지보 양보 되리스 이제 제가 되리스도 돼 나라라게 냠냠도 생그 조가 여봐 때 나라라게 냠냠도 토네 배지 나라 다 나라라 지가라서고 냠냠이었어
Also in those early days, Togorg and Chimchok and I would be sent out doing the same work, like slave labor, sent out to do all sorts of like hard labor. Me, I would try every opportunity I had to not do whatever work I was supposed to be doing. Any chance I had, I'd not do it or do it poorly. Togorg and Chimchok, everything they'd make him do, he'd do it perfect. He wouldn't try to get out of anything. Whatever task he was handed, he would do in its entirety as best he could. And for him, whatever activity he was doing, whatever action, whatever work they made us do, his mindset was everything I'm doing is purely for the sake of purifying the negativity of all sentient beings. That's what he was doing at all times. Any action he was doing was for the sake of beings to be freed from samsara. That was always his mindset. Where mine was not always that mindset. Initially, it was anything. I thought anything that the Chinese make me do, that's the negativity. I'm helping out the Chinese carry out these terrible activities. So for example, when I would go on one activity they had us do was logging, chopping down trees. So I'd be out logging with my axe. As soon as the Chinese weren't looking at me, I'd flip it around on the flat head, on the other head, and hit the tree. I'm showing them on Togorg and Chimchok, and I would talk about this. And he'd say, all of our work can be for sentient beings, and that's really how it was for him. And he would never throw it away and encourage me to do the same. Where our environment, where the awful place we were staying, the work we were doing was exactly the same. And for Togorg and Chimchok and the other lamas, but their work really was virtuous. Everything they were doing was virtuous and inspired by altruistic endeavor, inspired by compassion. And they were also happy. They were doing well. And I was the opposite. I was miserable. I was angry. And not only was I not purifying any previous karma, but I was adding quite a bit of new karma on top of that. But through being with them, eventually my mindset completely transformed and changed. Until really all the Chinese were the central objects of compassion and love for me, and affection. And really being in that initial mindset of resentment, of hostility, of anger, didn't affect them one iota. It wasn't of any benefit to them. It wasn't of any harm to them. Even if I got to the point where I was so enraged with anger, my head burst and I died, it wouldn't have meant anything to them. I had no effect on them. The mindset, the experience of that terrible situation that I had was harming me, and transforming it was a benefit to me primarily. It totally changed how I felt, how I experienced the situation, how I perceived others, and also totally transformed my experience of the environment of the prison, which initially began as hell, a true experience of being in hell, and then slowly became, I really experienced it as a retreat center. I was in retreat, meditation retreat, until eventually it really appeared and was experienced as a pure realm. In large part because I was afforded the opportunity to meet these masters who progressively began teaching me extremely profound Dharma that I'd never heard before, I hadn't met with up to that point in my life. Extremely profound Dharma, like the teachings of Dzogchen. And through those teachings and practices, I was living in the pure realm of this Chinese prison. Arriving at the point too where I really honestly felt that the greatest kindness in my life came from Mao Zedong. It was entirely based on Mao's great kindness, that I was able to have the opportunity to meet my gurus. Without the kindness of Mao, this never would have happened. I really felt that way. And feeling and experiencing life that way in the prison, then I was light and happy. So anyway, Rinpoche wanted to share that experience. This is his own direct experience of how really, in a very real sense, our mind and our mindscape creates our experience.
뭐야, 근데 손장 대화 땅 동화생에 니가 돼 요르지 토드 많이 받지 샘지 토드 이야받지 내가 게 냠냠부 토드 좋았어 가르쳐는 나랑 게 니당 배드 주도치 말해 요르데 가연 주도치 말해 냐와의 신감라고 돼 가르쳐 줘 말해 내 나랑 싸워 동나는 토드 냐완라고 통해도 나랑 그 샘이 신감라고 차고도 나랑 그 샘이 이 나랑 그 샘게 지기 되네 주도치를 되네 되네 서로왔다 되네 대나기 미세 하랑 나랑 그때 차상은 좋았다 그냥
좋아봐 밑에 출제.
상관없다고 그래서
So I share this too to point out that both suffering and happiness really don't come down to objects, to external things. They are really contingent upon one's mind. So based on this example of my time in prison, where my inner situation and experience completely transformed while the external environment didn't change at all. The objective reality, the object, the environment that I was in and experiencing was exactly the same. However, my experience of it transformed completely from experiencing it as hell to experiencing it as heaven, as a pure realm. And that was entirely contingent upon my own perception, my way of thinking about it and perceiving it. The experience of that environment as hell was experienced by and created by the mind. The experience of that same environment as a pure realm was experienced and created by the mind. It all comes down to the mind. And based on my own transformation of a mindset there, the experience, the feeling of it, and also my own health and well-being, and really my life was completely changed.
무슨 교수는 가르쳐요. 니 야구 고도 세게 좋아하고 저거도
세게
가라고 좋아하고 저거도 니 말을 얘기해도 니 야세요. 선발 찌강이 지니 세리여지.
So when I say my whole life changed, what exactly do I mean by that? Everything changed. I slept really well. Whatever I ate, it seemed to taste better. Oh, that's lovely food today. I woke up every morning elated to be awake. I woke up happy. That's what I mean by my whole life changed. Everything changed.
계좌 시에나요? 개목 계좌요 봐. 선발 찍고요. It is challenge.
I'd have conversations. There was laughter, there was pleasantries. My mind was at ease, happy.
너네 로고라 야바니 깔에 망고 야바니 이나야 선발은 나차야 케마소 너 될땐 얘네 내가 아니 가다양 지 여바 지역이면 지키는 하다 될때니 매체기 냠요 약슈라오지 참참 나랑 그 싸움도 내가 깡을 생겼대 개체 뭐래 너무 싸움을 참참 깡을 더 동할 때 아주 개개인라고 그래.
And in those 9 years that I was in prison, I did go through a lot. There was a lot of difficulty, a lot of hard work. But my mind was literally never sick. I didn't have a sick mind. It didn't plague my mind.
쌤이 내가 차르도
Somebody never.
이 지나서 깡에 대해서 좋은 쌤 내가 차르를 써도 나도 그렇게는 쌤 내가 참이었어.
Literally a mental patient. I never became a mental patient. So here in the West, situations come up, sometimes little situations, and then out of that, you get mental patients. That never happened to me in there. And when I think back on it now, I have no regrets on that time in prison. and really see it as the most important set of experiences of my life. And I think too that often what we call problems, what we call suffering, situations of suffering, are extremely important. They really are like our teachers.
그래서 나쪽에 소수게 되니 용반이라고 지금 매나 소소한 게 지금 강연다고 지금 용매나 매일 가서 매일 강연도 동화성이 돼. 시야까지 갖고 있어요 상으로. 예 마시나 인지 제생이다. 야 얘게 돼서 말아서 대지야 까지 갖고 있어요 상대로.
In large part because if we lack breadth of experiences, in particular experience with difficult situations, with problems, with suffering, then it becomes really difficult to empathize with others, to recognize the suffering and difficulties, problems of others. If we're unable to do that, then we can't really have compassion. We can't have a deep connection. We can't have altruism.
다 나랑 비슷한다고 지나 나랑 멤버라고 지기나 나랑나 내 나사도 뭐라고 지 강연이라고 지 싸니 용 해지기나 매게 동하다운 강연이 돌아 그 셈노나 싫어 샤야 됐을까 하고 있어 나랑나 뒤따부지기 강연다 냠누지 여봐이나 코드니 랑도 쳐마지야 용 야나 펜센데요 루비아 얘니 얘라다 쇼케하다 네가 쳐야 된다 이거를 하고
For example, if I'm a healer or a doctor, if I've had experience with illnesses, in particular the illnesses and ailments that I'm treating, it will help my ability to treat them, to understand what a patient is going through. If I've had the experiences of suffering, a breadth of experiences of suffering and problems, then it's easier to connect to the experiences others are having, and also the strength of my intention to be a benefit to others will be empowered by that. And the power of my longing and actions to serve others will be strengthened. So that's one way, one description of how we take suffering as a spiritual path.
Oh yeah. And young Khandro 나랑 저 강연했던 동아리 생인데 충청계이나요. 내가 딱고 휴지자. 다 나에게 도스지. example Ling 수요 삼마에 삼바지 샘놓고 근데 도스지 대바이나 아 뭔가 중요하잖아. 가래 얘네 가서 가래서 치든도 진짜 것도 되네. 얘네 발성팀 메디아바차 되니 영바차 얘네 딱 나와 너가 미안해 왜냐 미제 공로지랑 공로 중요지랑
미제 빙하다
코지를 공로지랑 니마 아버 공로나 니마 아버 공로나 가래 치든 로그라 봐 니마 아버 공로나 치든 로그라 가래 된다고 치고 있나 가래 나랑 그 줍에 정보 차그래 가래 나랑 랑 샘 마데바 차그래 치키나 나랑 그 되네 샘바야 하는 되네 냐마로 차기 냐가요 그래 대나기기 되네 대 쇼치도 로나 되네 메사야 냐가요 그래 그 자야 냐가요 그래 대 거기다 가래는 동화를 되나 동화를 떼지 아 될지 안보 휴지죠 동화디 서야 답이지 말이서 이 동화 패야 동화를 쇼키야 나는 네가 얘나 찾아 동화를 그 나중에 왕도 주는 거야
Also with problems and experiences of suffering. Sometimes something that really is quite small, relatively insignificant, can become a major problem that plagues us. In particular, when we safeguard the feelings of a small slight or a small situation, we ruminate on it, we keep it, hold on to it, then what initially can be just a small situation, small experience of suffering, something not so bad, can increase by our holding on to it, keeping it, escalating until we get to the point where we're really overblowing the experience of that suffering. We're thinking, wow, there's nobody that has it so bad as me. This is terrible what I'm going through. I might have the worst situation of anyone on the planet. But really, that can happen. You can take something small, and by holding on to it, the experience of suffering increases. The strength of the emotion and experience of our not being at ease and happy grows stronger and stronger to the point where you can drive yourself insane. You make yourself crazy, and then everything begins to appear and be experienced as negative, as your enemy. Some individual may get angry one day. They get angry about something, and they don't let that one situation go. And then they get angry easier the next time. And then they're progressively, day after day, they're more and more irritable. Their whole mind stream, their whole countenance becomes rougher. Eventually, they're never in a state of ease within their mind. And really, that is insanity. And that insanity can progress. And their irritability can progress until they are ready to be, they're homicidal, they're ready to kill. They'll fight at a moment's small, insignificant thing. So anyway, that type of a progression of the experience of suffering really can all come about by just hanging on to small little situations. And when you hang on to situations, then really there's no method, there's no means to alleviate the suffering as long as you're holding on to it. And not only will that suffering, that experience of negative emotion not be alleviated, but also your capacity to deal with anything else dissipates. Your ability to function on all levels begins to dissipate. And by holding on to such experiences, then really you're falling completely sway to the power of your suffering.
다 대나이 배나 다 루진나 사지나 기봐 루진나 산로 지기나 다 대나 네다 배 스바를 지기나 충청지이나요 다 대나 지랑 대나우지 제마 토켄데서나 네배 깔에 쳐 하나는 되는 직 들어오지 가시 쳐 가시이나 양 지나서 지 배깔 찍더니 나사더니 슉치고 쉬어지나요? 하동에 찍나라 좀 그때는 나와 싫어 매죠. 네가 가래 있는 제 동네 샘을 찍고 있는 데는 게 놓아.
You see this with physical illness too. This contrast between how different individuals respond to physical sickness. Some people, they have some small little physical ailment and it completely takes them over. It's a huge deal, a huge problem, and it's just really a small, minor malady of the body. And other individuals seem to be the opposite. They may have a huge sickness, something major going on, and they don't really experience it as themselves as being sick. They still work, they still do things. They're not overwhelmed by it.
전적은 그렇죠. 제레잖아. 나만.
Zero.
benata nigi semna pechi unanga da jikrijo de la mise na ba ya ma ho chales benata mi ko unanga so mi jo wa de la ba ya be ma ho yo na ba ya na che ko ma bena marang drela 나는 드랙너 같이 그래 상년치 되네 나서 막 줄을 맞은 로하지나 나 지금 나홍을 줄을 맞은 로하지나 드랙이 레면 상 행이들 베트서 롱을 저 혁혁 드랙 레면 못해 아니 가게 되네 와서 미치고 와서 담에죠 코다 미친 드랙 휴지 해대로 드랙면 근데 그것도 너도 코다 빼슈 해는 거 근데 세모도 되고 나와 샤도 잡는 나와 샤도 되는 그런 게 나와 잡는 샤도 그런 거 족파는 나
그런 랑기
나상이 그런 거 족파고 근데 코다 당고는 드래기 지클라메용아 상 되는 코파 근데 이제 알아 소선은 되는 코파 게 잡는 리소스 대드라고데 샘그 제레 생이 되다 꼭 너만의 되게 남도 대가랑 그서모 따는 저기다서 그런 게 주마대요 이제를 통 되네 이제 무슨라고 되네 다 그런 게 희한하지 되네 그런 거 전반 몇 소소 이제 이거
way of the Bodhisattva says something to the effect of to those worrisome, or really it's like a neurotic mind, to those plagued with worry and neuroses, harm tends to come to them more, or they tend to be harmed more. Meaning that our mindset can often bring on our own difficulties. There's this often used story in Tibetan folklore of an individual who was extremely superstitious about ghosts and demons. And anytime he'd go outside, he was extremely worried about meeting with a ghost or demon. So one evening he's going out in the forest and it's getting dark and he's very worried about the ghost coming to him. And the moon is rising behind him. From the moon rising behind him, his own shadow appears off in front of him in the midst of the trees in the forest, to which, of course, he automatically sees as the ghost that's come to get him. So as it's appearing, he's saying like his prayers, "Oh, please, may there be no ghosts." And then poof, this his own shadow appears and terrifies him. He's so frightened, he shouts out and faints from fright. Anyway, that's just this common story in Tibet. It's pointing out that really the way we think about things, the worry, the irritability, and the neuroses that we have in our own mind will really bring to us our own problems.
근데 songa ini kita ini 근데 songa ini ngaran sama kongsate kare thola tang gorasena penata ngaran 저기 다 동하는 저거들 sama tang 거이나 아무 직 penata ngaran 저기 아니 녀는 것에서 도보도 penata 컨트롤다 다 컨트롤 따로 뒤 앞에도 계속 동안 무섭지 지지죠. 동안 당고 지죠. 근데 동안 배야 째죠. 하마 때는 동안가 동안 탐지 기자로 차오도 니가 다소 이네 사마야 보지도나
당복 케바.
아무다 동안이야 째죠. 아주 동안들은 나고지 동안이야 빼면서 파 다마지 네, 배다 같은 데이나 치마이나 다지 가와르상도 나바지 뭐 지연 동네지 배나 그래가지고 배나 싸와 중경길 상도는 거 배나다 공로지 배나다 미지고 가나 네 계좌 두고지 시에서 뭐라 야는 미지고 가게 되네 지금 알아서 배 매기 두고지 떼서 야는 가는 미지 가서 애니 직 쉬어봐요 된다고 중경지 초지에는 싸우지 땅방이나 그 나고 맞았나 빼는다 깨자 중용지 깨자지 에 그런 거 우리들이 나를 도고를 납서 코를 빼면서 우리들이 도끼를 납서나 나 공부를 하면 좋아. 되게 요 되겠어. 아니, 다 저랑 또 보면은 아니, 저랑 그때네 가르쳐야 거는 거더니 그게 또 보고서 저랑 가르쳐 공부한 거래. 그러지 않으래. 근데 내가 말. 야, 저랑 놓고 있나? 근데 라바티 저랑 놓고 그래라. 근데 내 말 공부 가려고 거래. 내가 더 스케줄 상황이다. 그 내라더니 뭐 중경한테 욕이잖아. 강하게 말해. 나는 책동과지래. 걔네고 걔네 요. 나고 말이잖아. 그 걔네가 맞대. 강하게 계속 말해.
So because of all this, then how should we really think? How should we contemplate when we meet with different types of situations? Well, in general, if you're thinking about suffering, negative situations, your own experience of suffering, by staying in that place of contemplation, then automatically the afflictive emotions will proliferate in your mind, in particular anger. If you're ruminating on suffering, your suffering in general, then anger is going to be coming up in connection to that mind space. And once anger is coming up, then really there's no hope to be rid of your whatever experience of suffering. It will be inexhaustible. Anger and the afflictive emotions give rise to, they're can be the initial impetuses to experiencing suffering. And staying in that space, holding on to the situation, holding on to the afflictive emotion, then maintains the experience of suffering. And living that way, then one will meet with harm after harm in this life and likewise in the next life. So sometimes from one small little situation, if we have a negative reaction to that and then maintain it, nurture that negative reaction, becomes a big situation. Something small, someone says something bad to me, they don't like me, or someone looked at me funny, and I have an immediate automatic negative reaction to that. So then I can either hold on to that or I can let it go. And if you hold on to it, it automatically becomes a larger situation. Take for the example of someone saying, you're a bad person, I don't like you, you're bad. So I can get angry at that or follow the logic of Shantideva in the Way of the Bodhisattva. Shantideva says, so if someone says to you, you're bad at this or that, or you're just a bad person, well, first you have to ask yourself, is it true? Are they right? So then you can think about it. Well, no, they're not right. I'm not a bad person. Well, then they're just a liar. No need to get angry about it. They're just, telling untruths. No big deal. Or somebody says you're bad, and I think about it. Well, yeah, they're right. Then you can be kind of grateful towards them. Oh, they're pointing out the truth. But in either situation, really, there's no logical reason to get angry at them. They're either just telling lies and they're false, not true. They're just wrong, or they are true, and then that's good. That's reminding me I need to work on that. Anyway, point being that small situations, we can just let them go. They can arise and can be let go as the small situations they are. Recognizing words to just be mere words. Allow them to come in one ear, and go out the other ear.
네. 매치 저랑 유과시키소나. 저랑한테는 유과되는 매일 코로나인데 유과 같이 코로나고 저는 유과시키소나. 근데 나 유과 같이 코로나한 거였어. 유과고 매일 쉬어야지. 제가 미코 코로나고. 유과래서 밑에 유과도 유과래서. 코 가래서 고향 가야만. 그 샘는 콩로도 빼고 그랬어. 콩로. 내한테 좀 어디 콩로들했어. 내한테 그 껴한테 콩로들에도나 피 껴한테 데려도 나게 좀 뒤 야보라입니다. 대대 나랑게 코르데 매가서 버렸어. 되나? 얘네 민라고 집가서 되라고 하잖아. 나와라고 있나? 좋니지? 섭섭하더니 깨지 잡으러. 찍고 잡서는 내가 저니 대지 깨져요 막. 대대 니가 찍어요나? 하대 코로나, 저대 코로나. 근데 니가 냐면 그냥 잡아셔. 하대 코로나 저대 내 장면 그냥 라고 찍기. 라고 찍기 되니 깨져요 말이야.
Say someone hits you with a stick. Something, they hit you with something. Well, now I'm angry at the person that hit me with the stick. Well, what are you angry at the person for? The stick did the hitting. It was the stick that actually hurt you. Why aren't you angry at the stick? Well, the stick was swung by the person, and the person hit me with that stick, so I'm mad at the person. Well, really, if you think about it, the person has hidden away within them anger, hostility. And they were driven by that anger and hostility to swing the stick at you. It's really the stick and the person, they're kind of identical. And really the thing at fault is the anger, the hostility that initiated the whole mess. Oh yeah, the anger is the problem. Well, then if I respond with anger, the same hostility, the same fault, then that doesn't make any sense. The fault here is the anger. We need to be rid of the anger. It's like two hands clapping. It takes two hands to clap. If there's one angry individual swinging their hand about, if they don't meet your angry hand, there's going to be no clapping. They can run around angry, swinging their hand about, and it's not going to do anything as long as you're not responding with the exact same thing.
참참나 지고 생겨져. 대야 남체지 지고. 지고 생겨야 남체지 통보를마도 디 도구 건가티 코우레스.
Well, our talk is titled Taking Happiness and Suffering as the Spiritual Path. We've been stuck in suffering all this time. It's also important for us to take happiness as our spiritual path. If we don't do that, don't recognize that, then there's the danger of just remaining in states of suffering. We don't recognize how to utilize and take advantage of our happiness as well. So when we're happy, that's like our profit. Good for us. We're happy. Things are going well. But if we don't know how to respond to that, how to handle that, if we have a immature mindset about experiences of happiness, then those states of happiness and well-being will become the causes to lead to suffering and negative experiences of suffering. For example, things are going pretty well for us, and those that things aren't going as well for, those that we perceive as being less than in lower situations, then will give rise to a sense of arrogance and pride based on that. And then those we think we're doing pretty well, but it's going better for them in whatever regard, and automatically you get a sense of jealousy towards those that have it a bit better or a lot better, or are just, you judge as being better. And then those that are about at your level, then, well, you're in competition with them. You have this competitive mindset towards them. So without thinking about it, without watching our mindset, with an immature mindset, then states of well-being and happiness, likewise, will end up creating nothing but problems.
Zambalena nyuda songa samu tamu dire. Zambalena la jobo kare sai. Jobo teso. Ene dubo teso ga nyuda zoyo re. Na nyuda chungchong zo re. Obanda wo ja michi ni se. Enda wo teso tinde nyuda.
Michi ni se.
Michi ni se. Inaya zambalena nyuda chimbo songa suru sena. Pop chimbo je. Jabo teso. Fombo teso. Chugo teso. Ma tian gong ge nyuda zong seng zhou gong ge. Ni yong ma tian.
Las dene.
但就是用的时候，嘛讲的你注意，然后呢，没得说全部都是说的，台湾别人就让全部进出国，我这这是觉得个，那是嘛看的是弄的了，米工厂嘛不是呢，嘛讲错的呢都去，你这些现在这是个蛮重要的，就我的是说嘛，全部都说。
You can see the results of this, of individuals that don't know how to handle well what they have throughout the annals of the history of the world. So when we look at the world, who is it that really makes the most problems? Is it the poor and destitute? No, they don't do much, hardly at all. They might steal a thing or two here or there. They might kill one or two people, maybe. But really, the big problem makers are those that seem to have the most, that are the most well off. They're disasters. The most powerful, the wealthiest, the kings, the ministers, presidents, the wealthy individuals, generals, the heads of whole armies. They cause all kinds of problems. They, it's through their arrogance, power, and wealth, and need for more, that they lead the whole world into great wars that kill millions. So really, the poor and destitute, they don't do much.
这张吉他手呢，结果的嘛，难过的，结果，
那
doctor呢嘛，什么方式呢也得过来，什么，吉他呢样，成本上呢嘛不呢。 와서 찬양하고 제토고 근데 지금 맞췄어야 돼.
So in brief, when things are going really well, bring yourself down a little bit. When things are going terrible, bring yourself up a little bit. Trying to stay at the state of equilibrium, balance, at ease. So in a nutshell, kind of that sums up how we take happiness and suffering as the spiritual path. So we'll stop there with our teaching on taking happiness and suffering as the path, as the spiritual path. You know, if there's one or two questions, we can do a little Q&A.
Why does he think that humans have a natural tendency to look at the past, say, and hold on, cling to not necessarily the happy moments, but who's wronged me, or this thing happened, or why is it a tendency to naturally go that way as opposed to not?
네, rinpoche mi segde ngato mi chutang netsul dupo mi ki ngato la nupa kelba ina netsul deto la dapo yabo kyagyo yabo jengyo ne ngoma kibo yembe netsul ngoma mi ki ngato la entok teba ina nupa teba ina 남균 생기요 말해. 다고 깍이는데. 칠탄기 메기 시게 되다 보네. 가르치네 이거네.
어나서다 아니 다디 아니 아람즈 아니 어다 나서는 직 이유는 뭐 보니 직당 아람서나 박찬 냠바데 슈키와요스 베나다 아람즈 요 야다 슈키와요 아니 지안라 직 햄바도야다 펜센다 예수까지 트레이나다 된다고데 남중기 직구 아람즈 베 아니 슈풍종성도 슈키와지 딱와파 펜데
So it's from our very long held, over a long period of time, strongly nurtured and formed habitual negative tendencies, habitual imprints in our mind stream that are negative. We are very strongly habituated to what we call the afflictive emotions, negative habits, negative mindsets. We don't tend to be all that strongly habituated to thinking well of others, to altruism, to wanting to help others, to gratitude, being grateful for when people do or have done well towards us, offered us good things. So as long as those types of imprints in our mind are weaker, then we will tend to again and again fall sway to what's ever stronger in our mind, our stronger mental habits.
이내양 상하지가 말했어. 그러나 다 정규수 밖에서 가시면 선반상고 용에 들어가고 고요했을까? 선반상고. 딱거리 얘가 패도 기부상 관계 아니라고 다 정규수 비렉스게 그래서.
That being said, we're not all the same. Particular class of beings we call the bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas are those beings that always have a kind heart. At all times, they have the thought of the welfare of other individuals in their mind.
Oh yeah, that's another term.
No more questions?
I guess one. In his opinion, as far as letting things go, how do you let things go, and what do you let go of?
Number check going by the tene. Dako magyaki netso. Kare dan kare dako gyabjuyo mahe. Dan pangyaki. Madzinyaki tafshi. Dako chik karino.
Oh, that ben chagena madam zu. Ene da na zu ben depend politic. 좀 치슈도 오지. 하셨다. madam zu 시담을 아니 다 시담티 나서 그치 아니 삼삼나 되는지 당생지 제마톱나 베네트리 용도 앞에 잘
당진.
코데스 때문에 제마톱나 아니 코르 때문에 지생아서 아니 당생으로 좀 마톱이나 삼삼은 요라 첨부서 그래서 베나 메카시 아니 단다 충성나 총과 제매 공로지랑 아니 동통 아니 양쪽 보고요 라고 들어서 왔어. 다 더나 가래요. 하는 충충을 찍어 맞으면 왔어. 제일 좋아하던데 랑랑 배드체스 마세야라야 랑다 메나 그냥 야는 노녀가 zo야라 위장 되는 때 빼대. 이네요. 이 참참 다다 할 비충충래. 가야 매요. 된다고 돼. 뒤 윤드니 맞아 싸먹을 때 스티치고. 된다고 지금 알아. 미제 아스. 된다고 내가 돼. 탑자래. 독자래. 된다고 미제 아스 한번 줘라. 무슨 공통 많은 공로지 나온데 내가 된다고 지어야. 아무도 그래.
For example, in our world, we can really say that the biggest problem, the biggest fault in our world for us as human beings is anger. Anger is the worst enemy, the worst thing. And we see that for individuals in situations where anger can't be controlled, it gets out of control, then sometimes over very tiny situations that spark the anger, through not recognizing it, arresting it, dealing with it, instead allowing it to get out of control, that terrible things happen. You hear all the time, domestic situation, partners killing each other, partners killing them, murder, suicide together, poison each other, kill each other, drive off a cliff, abandon their children, kill their children. Terrible things happen, and often it's over something that is very trifling that leads to that. Sometimes anger leads to suicide, which is better than what it can be. But in any event, by recognizing that the power of anger to take something very small and lead to something tremendously much worse is very important for us to not forget, and to keep that in our mind, that any moment of anger, if not recognized, arrested, and dealt with, can lead to much worse situations. So for us, being vigilant with this understanding that the worst fault there is my anger. I have to deal with anger arising.
What is some advice from Krishan about maintaining composure when one is being provoked?
Niki rumjagi lapta chikuna. Krishinda ki rangla nupa kyauru juya ki tapshi che shimpi kapsu prechewe.
야, 다 너가 되는 파. 이 제도는 파 이혼의 약속이었어.
Nupa kyagin.
너가 제안 되는 이혼을 돕는 약속이었어.
Yugna.
이혼을. 이혼을 통해.
Yugna.
이혼을 쓰는 답변에 관한 좀 배치해서 그때는 감지하면 그 가는 데다 농토 말로 되니까 데다 내가 매번 되고 이거 돕는 약속이요.
Getting rid of them is probably best. Being, dissolving the connection, being separate from them, being rid of them is good. They're going to the right, I'm going to the left.
If I may, correct me if I'm wrong, if I understood the story of him being in prison, any lower emotions that one experiences, it seems to me from what I heard, is to better embrace it than to try and get rid of it or fight it like with the hand. Is that a proper way to let go of those angers by making peace with the lower emotions as he did in prison
Like make peace, not be rid of the anger, but make peace and stay with the anger?
Not stay with the anger, but in a sense, make peace with it, accept it, and not think of it. Because he mentioned that when you think of it, it makes it much worse. That it's the mental suffering that's worse than the physical suffering. So is it best to embrace what is happening as opposed to hate what is happening? So.
Yes. No. Rimje Chongkang logi de la tene. Comme dit Nyunmong de Pangati Tapsi de tene Nyunmong Chik Jungbalina, and Chongkang Nango la Shedang Jung. Tene Shedang de Shidak Tene Taktu Tene Dene Kang Chuk Pangyaki Tapsi Mate in a young Shedang Khandro de Shedang Nimbade Langsar Yawa Dang Shiwa Yimpe Tora Kerudumna Dang Semloki Togne Gura Temna Dene Netu Chizu Yimbe Netu de la Semo Rang Matanga in Nanga Kara Yoba de Sematang.
야, 야구레스. 나치 때니 낭백이 나가. 나니 나다. 나니 니한테 특관이 좀 빵구야 시험이래. 장생기 특관이 얘는 나다 나이 유리하게 시험이래. 너지 특관은 나니 용 시해봤지? 내 거야. 빵을 먹으려고 랑도 시해요. 나 대소소랑 얘네 감독들.
Yes, that sounds good. And in the Buddhist tradition, and what we call the vehicle of the listeners and solitary realizers, there's a primary emphasis put on abandoning, relinquishing like the afflictive emotions, and being far away from them, being rid of them. And then in what we call the Bodhisattva vehicle, or the Mahayana, the great vehicle, there's an emphasis on transforming what you're experiencing, transforming the afflictive emotions, transforming one's anger. And then in the Vajrayana vehicle, the emphasis is put on recognizing, simply recognizing, understanding afflictive emotions. Through recognizing them, then there's no particular emphasis on I need to abandon this, I need to take up this, but instead simply through the power of understanding them and recognizing afflictive emotions, they can be naturally liberated. So these different ways of engaging with our experience in the afflictive emotions are contingent upon individual dispositions and capacities and functions. So we have these different ways that you can deal with the afflictions too. Well, and Rinpoche said, so what he was describing today was within the Bodhisattva vehicle, the Mahayana style of dealing with afflictive emotions, where you're transmuting or transforming the experience of them.
La società trena l'anzione da Sanji Shajat Bagi Nita Go Chungata Ni Chuchuko Bora Nyambari Yabada Sangi Yabada and they got it the Davandi Maranzo Bay
Tricky Kola
Chugo Nyambari Nyambari Yawa Sangieva that to change in one zone of Osaka.
Never shall be young the day.
Young Sangiva
Sumyo
Sangiva
Sangieba
Kuntamba Sangiva 네 냥하는 데와
냥.
그래서 그다 상지에밖에 양 두갑지래 네 두견 제발 두견 제발 이제 그 나나 때는 맞을 그런 존 아니야 아니 맞아 녀문과 왕줄 근데 지금 남도 제비 꼴든지 시에지 좋아대 양대 상지 지레 개심 보지를 해서 근데 삼자다 또 병에 내가 용해이나한다 가서로 용해이나한다 상마라 얘네 투제체스 미셀게 아 상지 셔자도 봐게 네 가랑소라 에네딕 얘네 특바치 먹고 얘네 남들이 때마때나 미셀게 상지 셔자도 봐요 투제체스 그래서 펜토스 투제체스
So also today is within the month that commemorates the anniversary of the Buddha Shakyamuni's birth, enlightenment, and parinirvana, leaving this world. All occurred within this month. So this particular month is the holiest month of our Buddhist calendar, so that we have the opportunity, the fortune to gather here during this time of the anniversaries of these occasions of the Buddha Shakyamuni's life, to gather and to discuss and talk about how it is that we can abandon through transforming our afflictive emotions, and in that way making our afflictive emotions a spiritual path is wonderful, auspicious. And so everyone that did choose to show up, to come here, both physically present and to attend via the wonders of the internet. Thank you all for coming. And also a special thanks to Buddha Shakyamuni himself, to the Buddha who taught this wonderful path of Mahayana, of the great vehicle. It's been very beneficial to us. So thank you, Buddha.
맞았더니 딱하마는 가서 참여해야 되니 맞아 자기한테 봐 생각진다고 했어
So, so now, as a means to commemorate and honor the Buddha Shakyamuni, we can recite the mantra of his name together.
너였다 그래서 때야도 문에문에 마음문에 샤kyamuni 소화생기스
Tegyata O Mune Mune Mahamune Shakyamuni
소화 에야 오 문에 문에 마함문에 샤kyamuni 소화 에야 오문이 문이 마하문이 샤kyamuni 소화 에야 오문이 문이 마하문이 샤kyamuni 소화 가대인다스 얘네 세계수박이니 다 가르치마 가대인가대스 나처더니 다 직대는 다 얘네 대바지 되니
Bing.
고르바니 대바래더니 다 잘하게 돌아 니직 나서 이제는 가대인가대스 아니 대인다스
So the Buddha Shakyamuni has completely transcended, we say, gate, gone, gone, has gone beyond, gone from this world, gone from all worlds, completely transcended all samsara. Now we'll repeat the Prajnapadamita mantra after Rinpoche.
Om Gate Gate Para Gate Para Sang-ngag Soha Eya. Om Gate Para Sang-ngag Soha Eya. Om Gate Para Sang-ngag Soha. Lasso, thing of non chick, no, stuttering, gave a trophy, choose Jibata. Any, we said, and it around that to watch him. Chick any, what charity, sort of gave it our Tam Japanese and yeah, Tam Jet Nikok Marchu. Jungwagi Nyanka. Any time I don't so good any Uda Devatan Shivata Tartokyang, the also Shang Jokian Woman.
So now we'll recite some prayers of dedication and aspiration, thinking that we're dedicating the entirety of the virtue that has been accomplished here. And the virtue of engaging in taking every situation as the spiritual path as taught within the Mahayana vehicle. So all roots of virtue, we can call to mind and dedicate them for the sake of all sentient beings to attain both temporary states of happiness and well-being and free of suffering on the temporary conventional level, such as being free of conflict, war, the disturbances of the elements, that all conflict be pacified. And then ultimately, we dedicate this virtue to the ultimate state of the attainment of complete enlightenment by all sentient beings.
So,
On page 12, Cascade of Blessings book. By this merit may I attain omniscience, and thereby vanquish all harmful enemies, liberating beings from the turbulent waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death in this ocean of existence. Just as the omniscient heroic Manjushri and Khandro have done, so too shall I, by following and training accordingly. Thus I dedicate all of this virtue. Since all the victorious ones abiding in the three times, praise, dedication as being supreme. For the sake of noble conduct, I myself will thoroughly dedicate these deeds. Then the bottom prayer on page 13. That Gangri Hawe Ore Shikam Elam Dewa Malu Jungwe Tanzungwan Tanzin Gasoli Shabe Tabe Batu Tangjur. Then the prayer above that. Swasti Yawa Chonyam Yeshe Gyume Rime Limpe Yangsi Rajruha Goshen Gautru Sang-ngag Tenzin Chuk Kuze Daten Zechmin Rajeshu. And then page 14, the second prayer. At this very moment, for the people and nations of this earth, may not even the names disease, famine, war, and suffering be heard, but rather may pure conduct, merit, wealth, and prosperity increase, and may supreme good fortune and well-being always rise.
That's all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
3選挙の選挙
Nani.
何
Nani.
何選挙これですけどこれですまず読んでるんだけどです
Kobe
そう
Toko.
だな
Nani.
ちょっとそのレベルが
Nato-chan.
その読むこの時今
Kobe Toko.
これから読むからその読む系なんですか
Chutudumpala? Chutuchiba?
そうだね
Nato-chigan.
ちょっとこれ
Kongzu Chutujupa.
うん
And Nani Chutujupa. Kobe Chutoka.
うん
So I think on Thursday is the 10th day of the Tibetan lunar calendar, Guru Rinpoche Day, where we
何十月からそうぐらい
so we usually gather here together and offer Gana Chakra feast, puja ritual. So this month we've been invited to the Tibetan Community Center to offer tsok together with them. But we usually offer our tsok at 7 o'clock, but it would be at 6 o'clock down at the community center. So we can all go there, all that want to. We'll be doing tsok down there, 6 o'clock.
ラストそうだよ、この辛いやけにさ。
And they're offering food and stuff, and we'll do tsok together. So all are welcome.